Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first item is approve the regular minutes of November 16th, 2021. Do you have a motion?
Move to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting of November 16, 2021.
Second. Any changes?
I just had one question. The November 30 minutes?
Say that again?
The November 30 minutes?
Oh, did I cut and paste incorrectly? Thanks,
Yeah,
I'll fix it.
okay.
Oh, the date's wrong?
No, there's another meeting that
Yeah,
we've
well, there
had
is.
since,
That's not ready yet,
No,
the
I
special
haven't written
meeting?
those yet, right. It was
So we will
done
approve that at the next meeting?
in January.
Okay,
plus today's meeting? Okay.
plus today's
Okay,
meeting.
Okay.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
Okay, roll call vote?
Trustee Postuma,
Aye?
Trustee Harlow,
Abstain.
Trustee Stifler,
Aye.
Trustee Fisher,
Aye.
Trustee Burns.
Aye.
Trustee Banky.
Aye. That brings us to the President's report. On tonight's agenda, we're going to approve the budget for 2022. On November 30th, the Village Board reviewed the 2022 draft budget. The proposed budget tonight reflects additional changes made to the budget following the November 30 meeting. Those changes include a reduction in the wage and benefits by $133,124 to account for the retirement of a police officer. This reduces the increase in employee salaries on that line item from 5.6% to 4.3%. The transfer of $800,000 that we talked about last time in November from the general fund to the water fund was eliminated due to the water fund revenue performing better than initially projected. Without the transfer from the general fund, the 2022 end balance for the water operating fund is projected to be 27.3%. And as a point of reference, in 2020, the reserve balance at the end of the year was 9.3%. So we have a much larger balance even without the $800,000 transfer. Legal fees were adjusted by $615,000 to account for pending litigation. Staff is pursuing reimbursement through insurance pools for some of the legal fees. The contingency was increased by $150,000 to accommodate the change in the cost of goods and services as the CPI, Consumer Price Index, is over 6%, and the corresponding line items such as gas and oil for the village were not adjusted by 6%. In addition, contingency funds could also be used to cover legal fees in the event that they exceed the budget or to the extent we do not receive reimbursement from the insurance pool. In community news, after having received feedback from residents, an additional village-wide leaf pickup has been scheduled for this Thursday, December 16th, which is 2 days from now. On the coronavirus front, the Illinois Department of Public Health website is reporting as of December 10, DuPage's 7-day rolling positivity rate is 6%. That is an increase of 2.7% from my last report. As of today, Hinsdale Hospital reports that there are no persons under investigation for COVID, but there are 23 persons in the hospital with COVID. The available data indicates that 70% of these cases are unvaccinated people. So if my mask skills haven't deserted me, 30% of the people who are in the hospital for COVID are fully vaccinated and had breakthrough cases. As of today, the DuPage County website is reporting 2,101 cumulative cases in Hinsdale, which is up 167 since my last report. Since the start of the pandemic, there have been 55 deaths due to COVID from DuPage County, which is an increase of 1 since my last report. As of today, the Cook County website reports 259 COVID cases in Hinsdale, which is an increase of 21 cases since my last report. Since the start of the pandemic, there have been 9 deaths from COVID in the Cook County portion of Hinsdale. I don't believe that number has increased for some time. So that takes me to approval of salary increases for the village manager. And tonight I'd like the trustees to approve an increase in Kathleen Gargano, our village manager's salary, by 3%. I think all of you will agree that Kathleen has done an outstanding job last year and in prior years. She is competent, enthusiastic, and is well-liked by the residents. The recommended increase of 3% is consistent with raises that other village managers in comparable communities receive, and also her overall compensation package is comparable to what village managers receive in other communities. So I'd like to have a motion, unless, if anybody wants to discuss that, that's fine. Do we vote on that?
You should, yes.
Yeah. Okay, does somebody want to make a motion as to the 3%, or alternatively discuss it if anyone would like to?
A move to approve an increase of the village manager's salary by 3%.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
Trustee Postuma?
Aye.
Trustee Harlow?
Aye.
Trustee Stifler?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Burns?
Aye.
Trustee Banky?
And also, I'd like to point out that while Kathleen did get a raise last year, that was the first raise that got, first increase you'd gotten in 3 years, was last year, right? Okay, citizen petition. Anybody here? If you're here for something on the agenda, it's probably better if you wait till then, but anybody wish to speak on anything that's not on the agenda? Okay, that takes us to Luke.
Yep, which is agenda item 7A, and this is a first read and is for exterior appearance and site plan review for the Chase Bank Building at 4 North Washington Street. The applicant wishes to install 2 parking lot light poles and 1 wall-mounted light. The new lighting is intended to increase safety on the site for both customers and employees. The subject property is located in the B1 Community Business District. The surrounding properties include Eve Assisted Living to the north, which is R5 multifamily residential. The mobile gas station to the south, which is the B1 Community Business District. A multi-tenanted office building to the west, which is also the B1 Community Business District. The library and the memorial building to the east, which is the IB Institutional Building District. Since the property is not within 250 feet of any single-family residence, there were no mailings or notifications to residents. It is important to note, however, that the applicant and Eve Assisted Living, which is directly to the north of the subject property, went through 7 different plan iterations in order to minimize the light pollution onto Eve Assisted Living. The request that we have before us this evening is for 3 lights, which are all code compliant. The lights will be 12 feet tall versus 15 feet, which is permitted by code. The foot candle power of the light at the north property line, which is the closest property of Eve Assisted Living, will be 0 across the majority of the property line, except for the very far northeast corner, which will still be lower than the half-foot candle maximum that's permitted by code. I would note that the Plan Commission held a public meeting, and there were no public comments at the meeting, and the Plan Commission did recommend board approve the application unanimously by a vote of 5-0, with the single condition that the light shield be placed on the east side light in order to stop any glare to the Eve Assisted Living neighbor, which the applicant has agreed to do. We do have the applicant here tonight. Before we ask any questions of him, I'd like him or her, if we could have you walk through the locations of all the lights that'll be installed, or the 3 lights, it'd be helpful. And I would note for the trustees, there's a schematic or a map in the packet. It's just that it was very small to read as far as where the lights are. And it's the first fold out.
Thank you, trustee. Good evening. My name is Tim Messick. I'm with the Architects Partnership. We're the architect of record for Chase Bank. With us tonight is also John Krisoff with Chase Bank, Market Director of Real Estate. We've been working with the subject location for the previous build-out from the previous tenant to the current Chase tenant. And as part of the findings, once we occupied the branch, it was discovered that there were areas that were quite a bit darker than what the Chase recommendation is for safety and security, as well as the IES recommendations. The 2 locations for site lighting poles are on the far west end of the parking lot. That area will feed the west portion of the parking lot and provide safety and security lighting for customers as well as employees coming and going. The second light pole is on the east parking lot. The two parking lots are separated with separate access. That east parking lot light pole is located on the west side of that parking area and will feed that entire area for safety and security for mainly employees for that area. It's a smaller parking area, and that'll be serviced by a light pole 12 feet in height. The third fixture is located on the building surface itself, which lights the west parking lot as well, the 4 spaces closest to the building, and that's just a downlight wall pack that is also low in height and will just light that area. I will also mention that the foot candles at the north property line, since we added that shield on the east light pole, the foot candles at the property line have actually been brought down to 0.0 for the entire north property line. Thank you, and we're here for any questions or concerns.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Does everybody see where these are? Okay.
You can't read that?
I can't. Don't, if this is an eye exam, I failed.
Might need more light.
Yeah. But you see, I couldn't tell where the lights are, but now I know.
Yeah.
How late are those lights on?
So they will be on overnight because there is a 24/7 ATM that Chase safety and security recommendations is overnight lighting and around 2 foot candles for the parking area.
Is that permitted by code, Rob, to have on all night? I thought they have to dim down to
I think it's
security.
tied to business hours.
Yeah.
I think they talked about that at Plan Commission.
So the ATM is through the front entrance, right? I mean, everybody I know, because I use Chase Bank, they park on the street in the front typically.
Yes, that is feasible, to park right on the street, and then that's the main entrance right in the front door.
Right.
It is the walk-up ATM through the front entry door.
Right.
And that's the 24/7 ATM with key card access.
Right.
We do have downlighting at the front entry door that provides some safety right at the door itself. But if there are cars on the street, typically there aren't, but if there are, then we would have parking in the lot, typically to the west there, the larger lot, that people could utilize to get access as well.
I think the biggest concern we've been seeing, most of the complaints are coming from our own employees, because it's so dark in those lots, and a lot of our employees do come before the branch opens and stay after it opens, so I really hope we don't just limit to the.
What about tying it to like an hour before and an hour after business hours as opposed to all day, all night?
Or sensors?
Is the mobile on all night? I think there's immediately to the west, there's an office building. I'm pretty sure that one's on all night. I think.
Yeah. I don't know. I
And
don't know if
there's
this
a
was
big parking lot
discussed.
behind that one that I think that is on all night. And then there's the mobile, I think, is in that across the street. Isn't that mobile? What's
Yeah,
that?
it's mobile gas
Yeah,
station.
mobile. Is that on 24 hours?
Yeah, but if it's open,
Okay.
then it's on.
That,
yeah.
That's true. I don't know. I'm not a security expert, so I can't
I mean,
say.
What's the
we
protocol
didn't
on
I
that?
bank there. I mean,
Bank
it's
Commission,
it's a matter of code. I mean, if you want to have it on all night, I think you need to go to the variance for it. I think I'd be comfortable saying a plus or minus an hour
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
And I think that's
yeah,
reasonable.
and I'm not, I don't know that, typically, if it's at night, you could park immediately in front of the
Nobody's
bank. No one's there. I don't know that, I think it'd be very unusual for somebody not to go find a parking place on the street to use the mobile.
Yeah, but there's nothing stopping them from doing that. If they did that and someone got hurt, I just.
Can we use a timer or a
Yeah, I
sensor?
mean-
or
No, I mean, if
motion?
someone pulled in at 10, it was dark, and then they went
I've
to
been
the
here for
ATM.
20 years. Nobody's ever been hurt there.
Yeah,
I
I
know,
mean,
I think our intent, to your point, is to meet the code requirements.
Yeah.
We're not asking for a variance.
Sure.
So if the intent is to meet the code, we would absolutely be willing to do that. There's no issue whatsoever.
so we'll just figure, I don't know what the code, is it just? is
So I
it-
know this did come up at Plan Commission. I will double check the code tomorrow,
Right.
Yeah.
and get back to everyone.
Right.
I think it's tied to store
Yeah.
hours.
If it's not tied to store hours, I don't think we have a problem with it. If the code says when you're open, that's the limit of how long you have lights on, then it is an issue. But I think we would all agree that if people do come early, that we would accommodate that, to have it on an hour before and on an hour after, to make sure the employees are safe. I really don't think it's an issue for people using the ATM. I just don't.
I mean, it's so well lit.
So
on the
well, I mean,
street.
you're right across from the mobile, which is lit up
like a
like
Christmas
Christmas.
tree.
Yeah. So I don't view that as an issue. But we'll see what the code says.
We'll check it out over the next 2 weeks before the next,
Yeah.
or for the next month.
Yeah.
Before the next, before the second read.
Yeah,
And then find out what some of the employees would feel comfortable with likewise of when they're coming in and out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. We'll have additional feedback.
Yeah.
And we'll work with staff
Yeah.
to coordinate.
great.
Is it
Appreciate
9 to 5, is that the hours of the bank?
I think 9 to 5 or 9 to 6.
Yeah.
Banker's hours.
Yeah, it's all, I will have to Google it. It changes all the time.
Good point, Neil.
Okay.
Any other?
What about the other, does anybody know, like, the other banks in town, like, for their ATMs, what kind of lighting we have?
I don't. No, not right offhand.
Chief, do you,
No, not offhand.
any sense from
We
like,
can check by the next
Yeah,
read.
let's check for the next, specifically ones, and the reason that I'm sensitive to this is because the bank is literally like, it's 15 feet from a R5 multifamily residential district.
Right.
I think a majority of the other banks are probably surrounded by, commercial business districts, which is not as sensitive of a matter.
Right.
One final question, when you were going back and forth with Eve, was there any, were they left with any open issues, or were you able to address everything?
No open issues that we're aware of. So as we worked with them through that process, we did a number of different reiterations of the layout. We took a look at bollards and different other elements, but the layout of the lot just presented ourselves with certain options. We worked with their design professionals that were representing them and worked with them to come up with a viable plan. To the best of our knowledge, there are no open issues. We have reached out numerous times.
I
And
think the last recommendation that I remember was they wanted shielding, which we.
Yeah, which is
commented
done.
on all of them,
Yeah, and not as it pertains to this, but we've had a lot of lighting issues within the village, but as a lighting professional, I'm curious. So the analysis that you provided here with 0-foot candles at the property line, does that pertain to all light or just the light for the lights that are going to be installed? So is it a cumulative effect?
so we did not take a look at any of the alley lighting, nor the businesses around us, nor the right-of-way lighting.
Okay.
That we do not have control over.
Right.
We took a look at the light fixtures that we have control over and the option to turn those on and off at certain hours of the night.
Okay.
So just from the lighting that we power is what's shown on the photometric plan.
Okay. And just from, I guess, a lighting engineering, is it possible, not for this application, but more for ones that are around residential, is it possible to get a cumulative, I guess, projection?
Yes.
Okay.
So with assumed fixture types
Yeah.
or fixture models, we can do estimates as to what we would expect that to occur based on the fixture type, the heights, and then the throw of that fixture.
But if this has 0, it has no incremental effect.
Correct.
Right.
But lighting has become a very hot topic for a lot of, not for this matter, but
Right.
for, ones that are matters that are close to residential districts. So as others come before us, I just want to know if we can
Okay.
do that
Okay.
cumulative analysis.
Okay.
Yeah, and many times we take existing poles throughout the lot and we're adding a pole or two. So we'll go out and do a photometric study, we'll have that information, and then we will do what you're calling the cumulative effect for the combination.
Got it. Okay.
So, for second read, right? And at the suggestion of Neil, could everyone leave their packet behind here? Because it has, not as extensive as a lot of our real estate work, but if we leave these behind, then we'll cut down on copying for staff next time.
Can you talk to the cleaning people about not throwing them all out?
I'll grab them all.
We should probably put our names on.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Next month.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Which brings us to agenda item 7B, and this is an ordinance for an exterior appearance and site plan review for improvements to the building at 36 East Hinsdale Avenue. This is the building to the west of Corner Bakery and currently has salon lofts on the first floor. The applicant is the owner of Performance Wealth Management and will be occupying the second floor of the building. The applicant is seeking changes to the front and rear facade. Additionally, the applicant received final approval from the Plan Commission for a new wall sign in its November 10th meeting. The Plan Commission does have final authority over signage, and as such, the signage is not a part of the request for the board on this matter. The property is located in the B2 Central Business District with neighbors on all sides, part of the B2 CBD. Please recall our B2 Central Business District is part of our Downtown Historic District. As such, for this matter, both the Historic Preservation Commission and the Plan Commission held meetings and reviewed the application. The Historic Preservation Commission voted unanimously, 3-0, to recommend approval of the application with the following conditions. Number one, that the second floor shutters be eliminated. Number two, that the height of the pediment be reduced to the point where the top of the cap aligns with the bottom of the limestone or the top of the window. And this is specific to the entrance on the east side of the building in the front. And then third, that the narrow the pilasters to reflect the new pediment height so that it does not encroach on the adjacent window. And then after the Historic Preservation Commission met on November 10th, the Plan Commission reviewed the application and agreed with the recommendations of the HPC. Additionally, the Plan Commission recommended that the gooseneck lights on the front of the building be lowered by 2 feet, and that the wall sign, which has already been approved, or was approved by PC that night, also be lowered by 2 feet. And then lastly, that the wood entrance to the front door be lowered by 2 feet and the pilasters on each side of the entrance be reduced in height so that the existing trim is visible. That evening, the Plan Commission did vote unanimously, 5-0, to the board to recommend approval of this with the noted conditions. I would also note that the applicant agreed to make all of these changes, and that and they have been incorporated into the materials that we have in front of us this evening. Furthermore, Commissioner Jim Prisby from the Historic Preservation Commission and Chairperson Cashman from the Plan Commission, both of the gentlemen, which are architects, have reviewed the amended plans and confirmed that the changes have been incorporated into these plans. So before I ask questions, if we could get the applicant to give us a quick run-through of the changes that'll be made to the front of the building. And then I've got a question on the one change to the rear.
Hi, I'm Mike Zalad. I'm representing Performance Mall. So the main change was, kind of you stated, there's a limestone detail on the front of the building that Jim Prisby picked up on that wanted to lower it down to ensure that we don't cover that up as an architectural kind of feature to the building. So you have the same idea, we just dropped it down just so it would be right below there, same sign, same lighting, the whole 10 yards. The idea is to look very similar to the building right next door. There's an entrance to above Corner Bakery, and that was the idea, to kind of mimic what was there. The shutters we had on there initially, those were taken off early on in the first Historic Plan Commission. And in the back was just really a change of a color of an awning. It's as simple as that.
And in your opinion, we've got 2 black awnings on the back right now, and that's going to be changed to 1 dark blue and 1 black?
Correct. So the one door on the left-hand side, which would be on the west side, is actually the elevator entrance for the second floor. So right now, it kind of just looks like an alley entrance, and it's really difficult to determine which one is which. So they wanted to put the blue to give their customers, especially their older customers, the direction of where to go when they get to there to locate the awning to get to the door.
In your opinion, I guess I had questioned whether it would look funny having a blue and a black, but I don't think it does.
It's a dark, like navy
Yeah,
blue, so
exactly.
it's,
Okay. Questions from trustees?
Looks like this has been thoroughly vetted.
It has. And I think it's an improvement to the building, so
Great,
thank
thank
you. Matt, you okay?
Yeah.
All right, I would say we'll vote on this next month. Unless you hear from staff, there's probably no need for you to show up.
okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
That's all for me.
Okay, that takes us to the consent agenda. First item is the approval of the accounts payable.
I move to approve payment of the accounts payable for the period of November 11th, 2021 through December 8th, 2021 in the aggregate amount of $1,861,341.64 as set forth on the list provided by the village treasurer, of which a permanent copy is on file with the village clerk.
Second?
Roll call vote.
Trustee Postma,
Aye.
trustee Harlow,
Aye.
trustee Stifler,
Aye.
trustee Fisher,
Aye.
trustee Burns.
Aye.
Trustee Banky.
Aye.
Unless somebody wants to pull a consent agenda item off, could I have a motion with respect to consent agenda items 8B through 8E?
Motion to approve consent agendas, line items B, C, D, and E.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Trustee Postma,
Aye.
trustee Harlow,
Aye.
trustee Stifler.
Aye.
Trustee Fisher,
Aye.
trustee Burns.
Aye.
Trustee Banky.
Aye.
Okay, Matt, I think you have a lot of reading ahead of you.
Yes. All right, so now move to items 9A through G. A second read, it's to approve the property tax levy of $14,286,413. And then in addition, there are 6 bond issues where the village pledged alternative revenue sources, and we need to formally abate the levying of property taxes to make those bond payments due to the alternate resources. My understanding is that I need to read each one of these items. Do we need to vote on them separately, or can I read all of them and then
You can do one vote.
read them once? Okay. Okay, great. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, well then I will move through these. First item 9A is to approve an ordinance levying taxes for corporate purposes for the fiscal year of the Village of Hinsdale, Illinois, commencing on January 1, 2021, and ending on December 31, 2021, in the aggregate amount of $14,286,413. Item 9B is to approve a resolution abating the tax hereto levied for the year 2021 to pay the principal of and interest on $2,710,000 in general obligation refunding bonds, library fund tax alternate revenue source, Series 2013A of the Village of Hinsdale, DuPage and Cook Counties, Illinois. Item 9C, to approve a resolution abating the tax hereto levied for the year 2021 to pay the principal of and interest on $2,025,000 in general obligation bonds, waterworks and sewerage system alternate revenue source, Series 2014A of the Village of Hinsdale, DuPage and Cook Counties, Illinois. Item 9D, to approve a resolution abating the tax hereto levied for the year 2021 to pay the principal of and interest on $5 million, general obligation bonds, alternate revenue source, Series 2014B of the Village of Hinsdale, DuPage and Cook Counties, Illinois. Item 9E, to approve a resolution abating the tax hereto levied for the year 2021 to pay the principal of and interest on $9,775,000 general obligation bonds, alternate revenue source, Series 2017A of the Village of Hinsdale, DuPage and Cook Counties, Illinois. Item 9F, to approve a resolution abating the tax hereto levied for the year 2021 to pay the principal of and interest on $20 million general obligation bonds, alternate revenue source, Series 2018A of the Village of Hinsdale, DuPage and Cook Counties, Illinois. And finally, item 9G, to approve a resolution abating the tax hereto levied for the year 2021 to pay the principal of and interest on $2,655,000 general obligation bonds, alternate revenue source, Series 2021 of the Village of Hinsdale, DuPage and Cook Counties, Illinois. Do I have a second?
Second.
Oh, is there,
There's H through K.
We'll do those separately.
We're gonna do those.
those are separate items.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
So do you want to make a motion? You made a motion.
That was my motion.
So we are all, okay,
Ready.
we're ready. Anybody have anything to say? Anybody want Matt to read them again because he missed something? Okay, roll call vote.
Trustee Postma.
Aye.
Trustee Harlow.
Aye.
Trustee Stifler.
Aye.
Trustee Fisher.
Aye.
Trustee Burns.
Aye.
Trustee Banky.
Aye.
Okay, so now we move to item 9H. So, also second read. So this is a different abatement than the abatement of alternate revenue source bonds, but this is to abate a portion of the property tax used to pay a bond issued in the Woodland Special Services area to fund the residents' portion of the Woodlands drainage project. And so there's excess fund balance remaining that's going to cover a lot of the remaining debt payment for 2022. So the what we're seeking here to do is to reduce the regular levy of $190,000, reduce that by $112,000, so we're left with a remaining tax of $78,000, and there will be a reserve of about $3,700 to cover any sort of remaining property tax refunds and the like. Any questions on that? Okay, then I will move to approve a resolution abating a portion of the tax hereto levied for the year 2021 to pay the principal of and interest on $1,575,000 Special Service Area 13 bonds, Series 2012B of the Village of Hinsdale, DuPage, and Cook Counties, Illinois.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Trustee Postuma?
Aye.
Trustee Harlow?
Aye.
Trustee Stifler?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Burns?
Aye.
Trustee Banky?
Aye.
Okay, now move to item 9A, second read, and this is to approve the 9I, sorry. 9I to approve the 2022 annual budget. This was presented in a first read at the November 30 special board meeting. Since then, there have been a few modifications to that President Colley already went over in his comments, and I won't go through those all again, but does anybody have any questions on that? Kathleen, Andrea, do you have anything to say further? No?
No.
Thank you to you all and the staff for all the hard work on this.
Thank you.
In that case, I will move to approve the 2022 annual budget.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Trustee Postuma?
Aye.
Trustee Harlow?
Aye.
Trustee Stifler?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Burns?
Aye.
Trustee Banky?
Aye.
Okay. Now we go to item 9J, and this is to approve the blanket purchase orders for 2022. As we discussed at the earlier meeting, Kathleen has purchase power authority up to $20,000, and the purpose of this is to approve certain items where we expect to be making purchases from the same vendor throughout the year. The list of the vendors is basically the same as a previous year, and the total amount is about $684,000. Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay. Then I will move to approve blanket purchase orders for calendar year 2022 totaling $684,537 and waiving the competitive bid requirements where applicable.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Trustee Postuma?
Aye.
Trustee Harlow?
Aye.
Trustee Stifler?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Burns?
Aye.
Trustee Banky?
Aye.
Okay, now we go to item 9K. So this is a new item that we haven't discussed previously, but is a second read due to time sensitivity. So in July 2021, there was a nationwide settlement announced against various opioid manufacturers and distributors. And the various states are expected to split settlement proceeds of approximately $22.7 billion. And the state of Illinois is expected to get about 3.3% of that. For the village to participate in their share of the settlement proceeds, we've been informed by village council that we need to opt into the settlement by January 2nd. Thus the reason for moving this to a second read right away. And obviously, if you enter into the settlement, you release all claims against the opioid manufacturers and distributors, beyond the settlement, And my understanding is that the proceeds must be used to mitigate the effects of opioid use in the village. Kathleen, do you have anything else to add about this, or?
No, you covered it. Thanks.
Okay.
I don't see any reason not to approve this.
No, agreed.
Right.
Absolutely. We're not gonna, bring
We're not
a
gonna
lawsuit
sue.
against,
Right.
the opioid manufacturer.
Right. So you want to make a motion?
Yes. We'll move to approve participation in a national opioid settlement agreement and authorizing the village manager to execute the related participation agreement and any other documents necessary to facilitate said participation.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Trustee Postuma?
Aye?
Trustee Harlow?
Aye.
Trustee Stifler?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Burns?
Aye.
Trustee Banky?
Aye. Luke?
Yeah, which moves us to agenda item 9L. We have this as a second read, and it's to waive the competitive bidding and award a contract to Orbis Solutions for the repair of the railroad security camera system at a cost not to exceed $33,451. We have this as a second read and not on the consent agenda. There were minimal discussions at the first read because it's over the $20,000 limit and it's not a budgeted item. As we discussed at the first read, we have already received $33,451 from IRMA, but we need to cut a check back to IRMA for our deductible of $25,000. As far as the non-competitive bid process here, staff and the village want to go with Orbis Solutions simply because they are part of our IT services provider right now. They know the systems that this camera has to install into. The second bid that we received was from Pentegra Systems, which has the video systems inside of the village parking lot. That was more than 100% higher at $82,377. So with that, I'd open it up for any questions. Hearing none, I'd make a motion to waive the competitive bidding and award a contract to Orbis Solutions for the repair of the railroad security system at a cost not to exceed $33,451.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Trustee Postuma?
Aye?
Trustee Harlow?
Aye.
Trustee Stifler?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Burns?
Aye.
Trustee Banky?
Aye.
Okay, anything on discussion items, tollway update?
Nothing regarding the tollway.
And how about the flooding reimbursement?
No, there was an update in the Hinsdalean last week, and nothing's changed since that, but well over 50% of the claims they've either in the process of settling or they're in negotiations,
Okay.
so it's progressing.
So no residents have come to the village recently saying they're dissatisfied with the pace?
No.
Okay. Okay. Any of the staff reports other than that?
No, I just wanted to take a moment to thank the village board. I'm grateful for your benefit, collective direction and support, and the success that impacted the success over the past year. And I also wanted to thank the engaged community members because they also volunteer their time, talents, and abilities and make our jobs easier. The chamber specifically, we meet with them, the outdoor dining. I mean, it's great that we receive the input. And then it's also a privilege to serve alongside the talented coworkers that support me in working on behalf of the Hinsdale residents. So thank you.
Great. So there's no one here to give citizens petition, any trustees' comments? It's the last meeting of the year, so.
I'd just like to
speak
say it's a pretty darn good year for Village of Hinsdale, all things considered, COVID, everybody did a great job, I think, on the staff and, of course, the board. I mean,
Yeah. Second point to make, and this is just with Kathleen's merit pay increase this week. I think we're all aware of the professionalism and the leadership she provides to the village, and it's outstanding. But during the June 26th flooding event, I had a neighbor call me and asked me a couple questions. I asked how everything was, and the person said everything was fine. And she asked me, she's like, "Who was that lady out standing in the water for an hour and a half?" And it was our manager. So not only is she on the professional side, but she's out there getting her feet dirty, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Anyone else? Okay, there's no reason to have a closed session. Before I adjourn, I'd just like to say, since this is the last meeting we have of the year, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you all and to the Village of Hinsdale.
Yep.
Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas.
all right. Merry
As well.
Christmas.
Thank you.
So can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Trustee Postma?
Aye.
Trustee Harlow?
Aye.
Trustee Stifler?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Burns?
Aye.
Trustee Banky?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
I don't know.